nation. In case you meet a hyena, I know people in Rongai, sometimes they meet lions. But right now, we transition into a wonderful conversation. Ian Mwangi cycled all the way from Cairo to Cape Town. 10,800 kilometers for a cause. Good to see you, Ian.
Hi, how are you?
How is it, man? I mean, 10,000 kilometers. How many days?
61 days.
61 days.
Yes.
Wow.
From November the 1st last year all the way to December the 31st.
I'd like to get your mindset in regards to what were you thinking before going on this? Because that's a long distance. Was there preparation, and what was the motivation?
Of course, you just don't wake up one day and say, I'm going to cycle from Cairo to Cape Town. So this has been a 2-year journey. Okay. I've been working out, making sure, the mental game is set, everything is going all right, making sure the logistics were good. Where was I going to go from here? Everything was planned out way before. Okay. And then after that, now, we set out from Nairobi, went all the way to Cairo, and then started riding down. Yeah.
Wow. From Cairo.
Did
you see the pyramids?
Of course I did.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. But I can imagine the heat because you are out there.
Yes. Luckily, when I was doing the Egypt section, it was during the start of winter. So it wasn't really that hot, but it was like 29, 30, and then it was really windy. So at least even if it's hot, the wind still does help cool you down. Okay. So it wasn't that bad. But, I met the sun as I proceeded on down to south. Okay. South, it was crazy. 34, 40 degrees. And it's windy, but it's still hot. Okay. There were times I would take a bucket of water, pour water on myself, and in like 30 minutes, I'm dry, bone dry.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Then you moved from Egypt?
Then went on. Okay, so I rode the entire length of Egypt and then went back to Cairo. Okay. Now, the reason was I couldn't ride in Sudan because of the ongoing war. And then there were parts of northern Ethiopia that I couldn't also ride. Okay. So what I was to do in Sudan, I did it in Egypt. So riding in Egypt it's a tough spot.
Definitely.
The cops are on your case, especially when you're on the Nile. I got arrested a few times, they put me in the car and they ask you, where are you going? What are you doing? What is your itinerary? So you have to be really sharp about it. And then once they know you know what you're doing, they just let you go. But they follow you. They go with you the entire way until when I went back to the Red Sea. And then, I never saw them again.
Okay.
So after that, I took a flight, went to Ethiopia, and then pedaled on down all the way to...
I can imagine the weather challenges,
yes,
but also what we've just discussed here when you meet a hyena. I don't know whether you took some manuals when you meet some of these animals and how you're supposed to handle them.
To a degree, it was, I will deal with you when I meet you. Actually, now that you talk about hyenas, I did meet a hyena, but it was a dead one, somewhere just before Ololokwe. And next to it was a pafada. So my theory was the hyena did a thing to the pafada and the pafada beat the hyena. Okay. So they both killed each other and then they were lying next to each other. I thought it was really funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How about the south now, going down to sub-Saharan Africa as we go down towards South Africa?
The south, of course, Kenya is chill. And the thing about being in Kenya, because you're used to being in Kenya, you think everywhere is like Kenya. But, once we got into now SADC, Zambia, Botswana, South Africa, Zambia is just one big forest. You see there's a sign, health center, and you look, where is the health center? It's somewhere inside the forest. But luckily, it's a forest without animals. Okay. But now, when you got into Botswana, now that's when it became real. Because at some point, I remember that there are signs that say, if you stop here, you're stopping at your own risk. This is a wildlife zone. Okay. So basically, it's like a big servo. Okay. And the thing is, towards the evening, the animals start coming towards the road. And the first thing I saw were elephants, big elephants. So the first one got startled, like it hadn't seen me. So, it made itself big. I'm in the middle of the road. There's a trailer coming the opposite side. And it was just, okay, I was excited. But at the same time, I was like, please don't cross the road.
Yes,
because this is going to be... And then from there on, there were elephants, like after a few kilometers, so more. And at some point, there were elephants on this side of the road and this side of the road. They were grazing. So you pass one. One.
Beautiful scene, but dangerous.
Yes.
And finally, you make it to Cape Town.
Yes.
But, you know, to be able to do that journey, there must be impetus, motivation.
Yes.
And yours was to raise funds for the Stare group of schools, the Stare girls, the boys, the institutions.
Yes.
Why take on this journey and say that I'm going to do this?
So here's the thing. I've been doing this since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, it's something that just started in me once I started cycling properly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know, actually somebody told me, you know, you could use your cycling to give back to your fellow man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it sounds like a good idea. So from 2019, I joined a group that was doing from Malaba all the way to Mombasa. And then after that, now I started my own journey.
Okay.
So Nairobi to Mombasa in 24 hours, Nairobi to Mombasa and back in 24 hours, and all those raised money. And then the thing just took a natural progression. And the next thing was, why not do Cairo to Cape Town?
Okay.
And that's how it went. You know, education is near and dear to me, because I know what education has done for me and for you and whoever else. And I don't mean becoming number one, just being educated. Because, you know, if you're not educated, I mean, education is a leveler. It brings people from this side, from any background, and gives you, you know, the capacity to do whatever it is that you want with your life. So for me, being able, and hold on, and in Sarai we are told, before you leave, enable in time to come, according to your means, enable others to enjoy the same benefits that you have.
Yes.
So to me, it was just natural. So education, that was I took up.
Definitely.
And it's just awesome seeing what education does to people.
Yeah, and you raised 3 million shillings.
Yes, so far.
Now a call to action to Kenyans out there. Somebody who's a carpenter, they're thinking, you know, making the longest table and raise funds. I don't know. How can we inculcate these same values within our ecosystem and community briefly as we finish?
Thing is, you don't have to be a billionaire, you don't have to be Bill Gates or whoever else to be able to give back to mankind. You can use whatever you have. I used a bicycle.
Yes.
And if somebody would have told me, you know, you can use a bicycle, or you can walk, or you can run, or you can swim, or you can, I don't know, you know, like what God once told Moses, what do you have in your hand? That is what God will use. That is what you should use to just give back and, you know, make things happen. Do awesome stuff.
Beautiful. What's your file number, by the way, so that those people know they can gauge where you are?
11376.
11376.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That came before me. But thank you, man.
Thank you so
That's
much.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And to many more of this, I don't know, me, I'll cycle from here to town, then build up, you know, but do something and make it possible for somebody else because it was made possible for you. Thank you for being an inspiration, man. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
And the bike is cool, man. Hey! Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Mwangi, adventurer. And he says that